So Everton have signed Richarlison from Watford for around £50 million. A huge, huge fee for someone that has been quite poor since Marcus Silva left. A huge, huge fee to pay. But why is it so high? Well, there's a couple of reasons why it's so high. The first one is because he is so young and there's a huge amount of potential in Richarlison. He was amazing under Marcus Silva in the first few months. The second reason is they didn't want to do any business with Everton over the whole Marcus Silva tapping up situation. But they've decided that they don't mind doing business, but there's a huge tax on that. So it's a ridiculous amount of money to spend for any team on someone too young. But Everton have made that move. At the end of the day, if it comes off, if he is exceptional for the club, then they could make so much money on him. They paid a lot for him and they could get back a lot of money. He's a very quick player. He's very agile, and he was fantastic for Watford in those first few months. If he'd have kept on that form, he'd have been in Team of the Season, no question about it. Unfortunately, he did not carry on that form, and he, sort of just went into the background for a while. But, that's what happens with these young players. They sometimes struggle for form. But he is a fantastic player, and Everton are getting a player that has huge potential, and that is something that Everton and Marcus Silva would like. However, this could mean that Lookman, the player that has been out on loan at RB Leipzig, could be on his way out, and that would be a bad move because he's been fantastic for RB Leipzig and he deserves his chance in the Premier League, and I don't understand why they would sell. But Richarlison has huge potential. He's still very, very young. He's not been capped by Brazil or anything, so they paid over the odds. It's not the first time they've paid over the odds for a player. If we have a look at their dealings last season, which didn't go so well. Let's have a look. So obviously they paid £45 million for Gylfi Sigurdsson, which is a ridiculous amount of money. It really is. They way overpaid for him. They probably overpaid for Michael Keane. They definitely overpaid for Pickford, even though he hasn't had a great season. I don't know if they overpaid for Klaassen, probably a little bit. And then Walcott and Tosin, I think, is around what you get in the market. But yeah, so they've spent a lot of money in the last year. So they spent 160 million last season, including the winter transfer window, and now they're about to put that to 210 million since the whole deal with Majiri. So they are, but they need to start getting signings right. They can't have, Michael Keane who's not involved. They can't have, Sigurdsson who hasn't been doing it. They need to get these signings right, because if they get these signings right, they could be, up there challenging for the top 6, which breaking into that would be incredibly hard. But becoming, a top 7 would be an amazing, amazing achievement for Everton, and that's probably their long-term aim. But they are overpaying for Richarlison, no doubt about it. But what you've got to remember is, people said that about Neymar. They said that about pretty much every signing ever over 60 million. But the thing is, it's a thing where you forget. Like, you don't think to yourself, "Oh my God, they paid X, Y, Z." Like, you don't think to yourself, "Oh, they paid X, Y, Z for Kevin De Bruyne." You just don't think about it after a while. It doesn't matter, And it doesn't really matter the transfer fees anymore, as you know, it's totally out of control. But you know, at the end of the day, if Juventus went on to win the Champions League, would anyone care that they spent 100 million on, you know, an aging Ronaldo? Of course not. Of course not. So you've got to remember, it's very easy, you know, to say this, but people easily forget and move on to the next thing. You know, there is no knowing how good Richarlison shall be, but if he, you know, improves under Marco Silva, he could be a phenomenal player if he kept that form from Watford. You know, I don't think anyone would be. I think people would still think, oh, they're paying over the odds, but I don't think people would be as surprised. But you know, at the end of the day, he's a very, very young player and could come, you know, into a phenomenal player in the future. So that's what you've got to remember. At the end of the day, there's so much money being spent, and you know, at the end of it's not like they're buying loads of players like they did last season. They're very quiet, so maybe he's targeting a few players that he thinks could improve the squad instead of a bunch of players, and you know, that would be very, very wise move as well. So that's Everton's first summer signing. Richarlison has moved from Watford, joining his former manager Marco Silva at the Goodison Park. Thanks so much for watching this video. I cover 99% of transfers. The only one I haven't covered is Percy Tau to Brighton, because he's gone back out on loan, so I didn't cover that one. But I've covered all other Premier League transfers as far as I'm aware, so check them out if you're new. My name is Mike, and I of course will see you soon.